Okay, 6 o'clock. I'm gonna call this regularly scheduled Carbon County School District 2 Board of Trustees meeting to order. Bill, will you lead us in the pledge of allegiance today?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, item 2 would be approving the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the agenda as presented.
Moved and seconded to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, item 3, presentations, recognitions. Retirement.
Awesome. Chairman Sewell, members of the board, we have Jane Swanson here. Jane, if you would come up. Jane has worked for the school district for 35 years and is retired here in August, and as a token of our appreciation, Jane has done an outstanding job. I was able to call her, work with Jane a lot. I was able to call her, drop a hat. She would come get our kids, just take great care of them. And so, Jane, thank you for your service. Definitely going to miss you. Please don't be a stranger, okay?
I'm not good. Thank you so much.
Okay, item B is Memorial Hospital of Carbon County. We introduce
At this time, I'd like to introduce Stephanie Hinkle and her crew. She can come forward and they can introduce themselves. They do a great service for our students by doing free physicals. And I'll let her tell you a little bit about that, and thank you guys for coming.
Well, thank you for having us. And so what we've done, this is the 3rd year. You guys want to come over and join me? I guess I'll introduce everyone real quickly. So this is Abby Webster, and so we work closely on actually coordinating the details of the school physicals, as well as Lacey Munson, who's our clinic supervisor over here at the Search of the Clinic that we opened a little over a year ago, and Ken Harmon, our CEO. And so we wanted to come over this evening. This is actually the 3rd year. We've always worked with locals, local towns and students, families to offer school physicals, but over the last 3 years, we've elevated that and really tried to make it more of a real piece of our community engagement and our strategic plan where we're able to give back to Carbon County families. So we spent about 2.5 weeks going all over Carbon County, providing this service, and in turn, we've offered those services strictly on a donation basis, but any monies that we've received, we've let those families know up front that money collected would go back to CCSD 1 and CCSD 2 respectively. And so we're here this evening to present CCSD 2 with a check for $385. Again, that was what we received from CCSD 2 families, and for you guys to use this as you wish to continue different activities throughout Carbon County School District number 2.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I have to do that part too.
We will have our high school principals come up here.
Okay, that'd be great.
Come on up, Mr. Erickson. I know you want to. Where do you want to?
Just right here.
Wherever you
Maybe a wall. Okay, that wall.
Wherever you tell us.
I'll stand here in the back.
No, I don't.
See, 1, 2, 3, and you 3 come in front.
Yeah, the 3 with the check and.
Okay.
Yeah, us and
We're okay with that. They can decide us a little.
Yeah, there you go.
For the first time ever, I got to stand in the back row.
Okay.
You always want to be the one holding the check.
one more. There we go. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Pleasure. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
Good time. Thanks.
Well, it made sense, didn't it?
Run is like silly. We're gonna get you a little box that you can take everywhere with you to stand on, so you can stand in the back row.
We're not going to.
I'm
the superintendent, we want him in the picture.
I was gonna
He
put the
wants
box
to be
today.
tall.
I don't want to be told.
Okay, well, that was great, and, I know my kids participated in that, it was real helpful. And it's nice that there's a variety of times in this. Okay, item 4, audience comment, is there any other audience comments from the whole audience here, shockingly? Pass on that, okay, we don't have any correspondence.
Actually, we have.
Oh, we do have correspondence. A little share. Oh, I didn't.
So we have a thank you letter from Emily Mills. She's a student from SMHS and attended the CCLA National Conference and received funding from our districts. And the second correspondence is from my family for the flowers for my dad's service.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to item 6. Don't appear to have any other resignations this time. Item B would be the extra duty activity contracts, GCBB-R.
I'd like to recommend offering the 2022-2023 August listing for the activity extra duty contracts, GCBB-R. See the list pending certification. There are several open coaching positions and people are working really hard to fill those positions. So that's, sure you can see that on your listing of contracts.
Mr. Chair, I move that we offer these extra duty contracts as listed.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to offer the 2022-2023 activity extra contracts. It's listed. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, item 7A would be the superintendent report update.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, thank you. At this time, our enrollment looks like we've gained kids, and I don't want to do backflips too soon. It looks like we're up about 35 students. You really don't know until your doors open and see how many you lose, but our preliminary numbers do look good at all of our campuses. We spent some time with our school nurse, have a new school nurse this year with our health protocols, which have changed substantially. And basically the policy that we went with is we use a little common sense. If you're sick, to stay home, and then put some guidelines in place for our office staff and parents to look at if they would like to, keep their kids home. Just changing the protocol back from when, pre-COVID, I guess, is where we're at. I wanted to share that with you and see if you have any questions about our health protocols for students and staff. We may have to update. If we continue to receive your ESSER funds, you have to have a COVID response plan. So we may have to update we'll have to update the COVID response plan, but I haven't heard from WDE or other superintendents of how extensive that has to be. So we're just kind of on hold, and that'll stay on our website until all of our COVID, the ESSER 2 and ESSER 3 funds have been used. So that will have to be updated. We have the WSBA Fall Roundup is Monday, August 29th in Laramie. Please let Dana know if you plan to go. We don't have any more specific times right now. As soon as I know times, I will get that out to all of you. Facility update. We are doing a locker room punch list walkthrough at all of our campuses beginning tomorrow morning in encampment and then traveling north. They're installing lockers. I know in Saratoga they just arrived today. Encampment still does not have their lockers in place. And Hannah didn't get new lockers, so all their lockers are already there, minus a couple that were damaged by an electrical contractor. And so we'll do the final walkthroughs. There is still some work to do. And again, the level of satisfaction just depending on the campus. We'll do walkthroughs and establish a punch list for those. And hopefully we can do those athletes that are out for the fall sports. can start using locker rooms as soon as tomorrow afternoon after we do the walkthrough. So we had work that was done at Han Elementary School during the seismograph. The seismograph crew came in, they did work, they found 4 possible voids. They potholed those 4 voids and did not find anything that was substantiated they did that work on 811. So they went in, they used the high pressure water and they back truck and sucked that out. They didn't find any voids. We were in great shape until we got all the rain yesterday. And then this morning, now we have another small sinkhole around the same area where Jackie Jones's truck tire fell through last year. The engineer believes that it was just some more additional settling. They normally don't get a couple inches of rain like they got, and reassured me again today that we were all safe and don't be concerned. They're going to examine the soil again to see if they need to do some additional grouting to stabilize it in that area. He did again reassured me that there was no danger of people using that site. So we'll see. It's kind of an emotional roller coaster because you think everybody's safe and the world is great, and then I get a picture this morning at 7:30 on my phone and Laura chuckling about an additional sinkhole in the parking lot. So hopefully that's all going to be taken care of. We're just hoping. High School Activities Association passes. If you would like one, let Dana know. We also have board elections coming up. Please file. We ran an ad in the paper. We have information about that on the website, and I've offered to take applications if some of you would like to run for re-election. I will hand deliver those to Rollins. And tonight at our BOCES board meeting, the BOCES board did accept the resignation of Breck Monks. Breck resigned. Thank Breck for her services. At this time, Noel is going to be the interim director of BOCES and really work on our kindergarten readiness and the dual and concurrent enrollment classes. So we have that covered. Any questions on my report?
Well, you didn't talk about Saratoga Elementary School pickup.
Saratoga Elementary plan, thank you. I've forgotten several things. I've asked Principal Hetherington to come. Mr. Miller is our head of transportation as far as a new drop-off and release plan for our students at Saratoga Elementary. So.
Yes, Chairman Sewell, members of the board. When I arrived, Mr. Miller asked that if we could revisit our drop-off and pickup plan for safety of our students and because of road construction. We spoke with Chief Laird and Mr. Winters from the city of Saratoga, and what we've decided to do is we're gonna have our buses pick up and drop off on the south side of our building on Elm, and then we'll have a student drop off in the parking lot. We'll have somebody out there that welcomes the kids as they get out of their car. We'll do a morning, so they can go back in for breakfast or go to our playgrounds. In the afternoons when they get picked up, all of our walkers will go out the front of the building and all of our bus kids will go out the door by the music room and get on our buses to head up to the high school. Just so we don't have a mass of people going out the front door at the end of the day where buses are pulling out, kids are running everywhere, cars are everywhere, things like that. So.
Just to reiterate, last year, we had 4 incidents in the parking lot where buses had flashing lights going, students coming out of the school, and 4 different times a parent drove by the buses with lights going and tried to park in that parking lot. There was also 2 incidents with teachers that did the same thing. Thought that they could go around the bus with flashing lights to park in the parking lot. So for the safety of the kids, I requested to meet with him about the different drop-off and pickup points, and it will alleviate parents and kids running in between the buses, trying to go through that parking lot to go across the street by the community center to get in vehicles that are waiting for them over there. When you're sitting in those buses waiting for kids, it's really hard to watch behind you, in front of you, and watch the kids get on the bus. So this way, when we're parked on Elm Street, the doors face the sidewalk to the building, and there's nowhere for the students to go. If we park bumper to bumper, you can't get between the buses, and they all come out of the school and get on at the same time. And this will allow the parents to drive through the parking lot where the buses used to park and drop off their kid at a certain point and then drive out the other exit. There is some construction going on. What street is that?
Right there on the corner of Spring and Third.
Spring and
They're
Third.
gonna have it tore up for a little while.
It's gonna be going on while school is starting up here. So we've kind of developed a plan to keep students away from that area. There's lots of construction equipment over there, and kids love construction equipment, so especially boys. So this plan that we came up with will keep students away from that area, and just my experience in transportation, once people get in a routine of doing something, it just becomes habit. And this is the safest way that I can come up with to pick kids up and drop them off at the elementary.
So normally cars parked on the south side of the building. Are they gonna not be able to park there?
Not
They
gonna be
will
able
park
to-
in the parking lot.
I saw the signs up there, there's still cars there today, but
Yeah,
it's not school.
It's not school yet. The teachers
Yeah.
know that once we start, they'll be working in the parking lot.
So is the traffic on Elm Street gonna be stopped while buses are loading?
We talked to Mr. Winters about that. That was one thing he was worried about. But he feels that if the bus drivers wait until the kids are coming out of the building before they turn their signs on and only have them on while the kids are loading, it won't affect Elm too bad.
Yeah, because there's no real way to go around.
Yeah.
Right. And Chief Lear said that, if we have a pickup time or drop off time of, about 3 minutes, he will enforce anybody that drives past the school buses during that time. He'll get a warning the first time and then he will cite people.
And it becomes JD's problem when all the high schoolers get excited.
There you
Well,
go.
the nice thing is they will be on the buses and at the high schools, so
Oh, yeah.
we have
At least
no high school
Good
kids
call.
driving.
In the morning though,
More
drop off.
possibilities.
Morning possibility, yes.
But they get off real fast, offloads fast.
Yeah, offload, 25, 30 seconds, and not all the buses are gonna be there at the same time for drop off.
I think you better tell the high school students to pay attention.
Yep. There will definitely be a learning curve, we know that, but we do feel that it's much safer than everybody dismissing in the same spot.
Well, there wasn't a lot of parking that people don't like when you park in front of their house over there or.
Right,
Probably.
and the problem was people were trying to park on little islands, little places that they shouldn't be parking in the first place. And some of the time, they were even parked where the buses turn in front of the school, just to drop their kid off or let their kid on. And like I said, when we had our stop signs out, we had people go right by our stop signs. So,
Well, now they can drop off their kids in their jammies and not get out of their car.
that's it.
It's a win-win for everyone.
And if you go by the school, there is a sign that says student drop off, and there will be somebody there every morning to help kids get out of the cars. Parents can just keep on going once they drop them off.
I'm excited, it sounds great.
Any questions?
Thank you,
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, principal reports this time. We have a special report that says a lot of the. Anybody have any questions? Let's go back. Mr. Manning?
Chairman, members of the board, my report is attached to you. Has anyone read the book, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
I've watched the movie.
You watched the movie, so you might remember. I love that movie, it's very funny, I love the book, and they make a joke about how there's this guide and on the back in large primary letters, it says, "Don't panic" on it, and to me that's important because, especially when I hear things about sinkholes possibly reopening. There's a little information in my report as well that I feel like can make some people panic, and I'll all I can say is don't panic, please. So curriculum updates, good and bad news with the curriculum adoptions we did this past spring for the 6 through 8 ELA and then 6 through 8 high school math programs. Good news is the math program almost completely here at this point. We got all those materials relatively quickly and the online system seems to be functioning properly. I think we're missing some companion books for our geometry classes, some workbooks. Hopefully we'll get those sometime soon. They did tell me that they were technically in stock right now, so I'm really hoping they'll come. The bad news is with the ELA 6 through 8 Amplified curriculum. We started getting shipments in at the beginning of June. We still have not yet received our student textbooks and more importantly, our teacher editions for planning purposes. I have worked exhaustively with this company to try to figure out what's going on. The last I heard, and I don't think it's going to change, hopefully it doesn't get worse, is that we're not going to get this stuff until mid to end of September. To kind of throw salt in the wound, we're finally making some progress, but we've had some difficulty getting the online components of this up and running. So actually getting teachers the access they need to the entire curriculum. We finally got that going, but now we're running into a problem where it doesn't seem like the student accounts are working. And I don't know if that's because the students aren't in school yet or what. Trying to resolve that and then even make it a little bit more of a headache. Might be related, might not, but it is now extended into, it seems like, our Amplify N-class testing that we use to pull data from our elementary kids throughout the year at the beginning, middle, and end. That doesn't seem to be working properly. I don't know why exactly this is happening. Andy and I are banging our heads against the wall trying to work with their tech department and figure out how we can resolve this and putting some immediacy to their resolutions. I hate to bring this up, especially about the Amplify ELA curriculum, because it's brand new, and I don't want people to think, oh, this is a horrible program when we haven't even actually gotten it in the hands of kids. But you guys need to know, because at this point we're kind of working on contingency plans. We've given the teachers a choice on whether or not to try to pursue use of this curriculum so long as we can get the student accounts up and running, because theoretically they could still do all the learning using their Chromebooks. Once we get those student accounts active, we've given them the choice to do that or to use the current or the old program that was in place before we did the replacement. All the teachers still have those materials. And that's simply to help them get by, because I know teachers have been very patient. So big thanks to them on waiting and waiting and waiting for this stuff to get in their hands. And some were kind of having some panic attacks about what am I doing, what am I planning for? So please don't take this as hey, this curriculum is dead on arrival, even though it doesn't seem to be working very well. Again, we haven't actually started teaching it yet. And these teachers are really excited about getting it into students' hands just because it can inject so much life really into their programs, I think, once we get it going. Trying to come up with solutions as best as possible. You know, the material shortages, the actual physical copies, this is a nationwide issue with Amplify. This isn't just an us, we ordered a little too late or things like that. They had to do a lot of things to try to help districts all across the country deal with the exact same problems as us. So I'm hoping for some kind of solution soon, but if you guys hear of that, you know, we're supporting the teachers as best we can and hoping for the best. Beyond that, district assessment system, I didn't really have much to add in there, just about YTOP summative scores should be made public sometime soon. I don't know the exact date yet. The WE is a little bit behind, in my opinion, on some things. I think we are still waiting for some YTOP stuff that usually they have done by now to get our teachers trained for this upcoming year. But hopefully they get those public reports sometime soon. We started a new testing resource called FastBridge that's going to give us better, or not better, additional screening and intervention tools that might actually be very helpful for us if we can't get Amplify functioning, because that's K through 12, big focus on ELA and math. That is what a lot of districts throughout the state actually use, especially when it comes to the K through 3 early literacy statutes that we've mentioned before, just about how we have to get students to a certain level by the time they're done with 3rd grade. But we primarily bought that just to give our new interventionists throughout the district a little bit more, or a better, a different tool to really test kids, see where they're at, and then see how they can intervene, and again, try to approach those learning gap goals. We're going to start with that tool just for interventionists, but then eventually we're going to roll that out to teachers, and if the Amplify issue continues, then we might speed up that process. But if anything, the good news is we've got an alternative there. And then the only other thing I had is just about a number of things I've done the last several weeks for all of our new teacher orientation and what's going on this week. A lot of focus on that. Really want to thank Andy Ward for all her help in trying to get some of these online systems up and running. Like I said, banging our heads against the wall. She's always doing a lot for the district, and then to add on to it, we keep having these issues with these systems and have to go back to it and back to it and back to it. Trying to give her candy or things like that, so that every time I walk into her office, it's not just no want now. I think we had a really good first week last week with our new staff. We've got a lot of experienced teachers that have come into the district. I look forward to you guys maybe getting the chance to see them in the classroom, just because I'm pretty positive about a lot of them. There are some that are a little green, but I mean, we get that in this district sometimes, and we'll work with it as best we can and try to support them and hopefully build them up to be incredible teachers that want to stick around for a while and help us out. So just if anything, best of luck to them and all our teachers, and hopefully we have a good year.
Thank you.
I have one question. When you were talking about the material, the shortage, and you said you were giving teachers the option to teach the old curriculum or wait,
Yes.
What's been the response?
I haven't heard
Okay.
from those teachers. This has all been through email while they've been gone. I didn't get the chance to really visit with them, but I want to try to visit with them this week and see where they're at. I can tell you that our biggest concern was these new 6th grade teachers in JD's building, because I didn't want to give them, hey, here's the old curriculum, use this, learn it, and then learn the new curriculum once it's up and running. That really seems unfair. So I know that they've come up with a plan that's kind of a hybrid approach, where they're going to be pulling in some materials that they taught before that they feel comfortable with, and then hopefully let them transition from that into the new Amplify ELA program.
Cool. I was just curious.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, items 8 and 9, there's no unfinished or new business at this time. Item 10 would be the consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye. Motion carries. Okay, item 11, the financial information, treasurer's report.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, your general fund balance at the end of July was $3,445,410.50. You can see there your revenue, reimbursed expenses, your bills, and your payroll for the month of July. Your major receipts came, of course, from the Carbon County Treasurer and the state of Wyoming retirement reimbursement it's a carryover from last year. And then we also did get some CARES money from the Department of Workforce Services for not unemployment, but the other one. Workers' comp. From them with CARES money given to the state. You see there in section 3 your investments at the various rates and the balances. I did notice that WildStar, as I pulled July statements, we don't get theirs till 10 days after the first of the month, so they're not ready for this report, but it was over 1%, so we did finally break that 1% mark on WildStar. If you have any questions regarding your general fund financial report. Your other financial report for your other funds, you can see there the new grants have not yet been added because they haven't been approved, but you've got all your old grants that are starting to zero out and be paid down. You have your comparison of payrolls from July of last year to July of this year. Part of the increase there is the health insurance is a big piece of that, because we have to pay some health insurance a month in advance when we do the unlap. We have to pay those premiums, and because we have to process them with their July and August unlap that we didn't have to do before, because we have the employee's portion that we have to take out of those checks. And so in the past, we haven't had to process them in June or July, so we had to process them early to get those premiums taken out. So that's a major portion of why there's a big difference there. You see your scholarships. There were no new scholarships issued during the month of July. You see your balances in your other funds, your employee benefit, your major maintenance, capital construction, your depreciation reserve, your lunch fund, your encampment activity fund, the HANA activity fund, and the Saratoga activity fund. Any questions regarding the other funds? Any questions regarding the summaries of revenue and expenditures that came with your bills lists? I think we're right on track. We're within 0.5% of where we were last year at this time, so I think we're in good shape. That concludes my report.
Mr. Chairman, the Bills Committee and I met with Sally. She answered our questions as always, and I move that we approve the following bills. General Fund, $184,186.78. Federal Fund, $117,990.07. Major Maintenance Fund, $76,699.86. Depreciation Reserve Fund, $142,885.40. Hot Lunch Fund, $6,558.05. Encampment Activity Account, $11,287.80. HEMHS Activity Account, $941.49. Saratoga Schools Activity Account, $10,594.41. For a total of $551,143.86.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the bills in a grand total of $551,143.86. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Okay, September's Bills Committee is Miller, Alameda, and Clark. Okay, moving on to items from the board. Item A is review the board governance leadership policy, mission, vision, goals, strategic plan. I'll do this twice a year, I think. See if there's any comments, questions.
What do you think, you superintendent? You like it?
You know, we've been reviewing mission, vision, goals, and strategic plan at every one of our meetings, whether I'm meeting with our transportation directors, whether I'm meeting with principals, or I'm meeting with our superintendent's cabinet. I think Sally's seen these about 7 times so far this year. But really, you want this to be the driving force of your district. So we've been going through those. I would like to see us look at them in with our DAC this year, and then also we have board governance training that's scheduled for February 1st. We talked about last time that this might be a good time to bring it up then. So I would like to keep them in place. I think they're fabulous, but review them with the DAC and then talk about them on February 1st.
Yeah, the thing is, these are 2018, spring 2018. If there are any modifications, spring 2023 would be a 5 years. I think that's pretty reasonable. Update anything that needs updated. Make sure it's probably not major changes, but very good. No policies, regulations, exhibits to review at this time. Anything from Region 5 BOCES?
I wasn't able to attend the meeting last month, so I didn't send anything in for review. Board member comments. Georgia. Well, obviously, I hope everyone starts off the school year well. It's coming soon, and welcome to all the new teachers and staff that we have, and all of the new students. Hopefully, we do have that many students coming. Thank you to Jane for her many years of service. That's pretty incredible to be a bus driver that long. I think that would be very challenging. But, thank you to the hospital for their service for doing those physicals. I'm like, can't think of the word. And then for their donation back. that's pretty awesome that they do that. Thank you to Breck for her service. That's sad that she's leaving, but I think she did a great job on BOCES. And then thank you to Noel. I know Robin said something in her report that you had helped with Title I and Title III. So thank you for doing that and for also setting up to help out with BOCES with Breck's absence. That's all I have.
Yeah. A big thank you to Miss Jane Swanson. I mean, 35 years of service is something incredible. And Paul's always real quick to offer up credit to the bus drivers, and I always forget that. But that's every morning we put something pretty precious in their charge, and they deliver them and bring them home, and it's a pretty important job. So I'd like to recognize all the bus drivers out there, and especially her for sticking it out for 35 years and doing this fine job. So I'd like to thank MHCC for their generous donation, and Andy Ward for her hard work. Sounds like she's kind of up against it, and filling gaps. And I'm pleased to hear the reports that it sounds like you guys are working well as a team, and I hope things are going as smoothly as it sounds like they are. And wish you the best of luck, Noel, with your curriculum challenge. So I know there'll be a solution. It'll all work out. So, and then and then best of luck to principals, teachers, staff in the buildings, and wishing you guys the best and a very successful 2022-2023 school year. Sir.
Okay, I'd like to say thank you to Mac Miller, Mr. Hetherington, and Police Chief Lair for the work to figure this out with bus drop off. And, it takes a lot of time and effort and coordination to do that. Thank you for the work that you did there. Memorial Hospital, not only for returning the money, but also for the fact that they did it free. So, that's a lot of work and time and effort. And, thank you there. And I'm looking forward to a great year. With or without curriculum, we'll figure it out. Hey, believe me, I can identify because, there are auto parts, they say February of 23. And you're just, what are we gonna do? Well, we have to deal with it. Anyway, that's all I have to say.
Well, I echo what everybody said. Thank you, Jane. That's an incredible job to do for that long. Thank you to Memorial Hospital. Thank you to Noel, who stepped up to do BOCES and everything he does. Put a smile on his face. Good luck to all the kids going to State Fair and all the kids that were at Fair and how everybody did. To Tucker, who won nationals. It's pretty incredible. There's some pretty incredible kids and a pretty incredible district that they're all kid focused. Everything today is kid focused. That's important.
To mimic a lot of what's already been said, thank you to Jean. Thank you to MHCC. Also, a big thank you to Breck for what she's done the last couple of years. Also to Noel, just being willing to take that on until we can find someone new. To spread the word that we are looking for a BOCES director. That'd be helpful. And I think we are hoping to have someone hired at our next board meeting in October. So fingers crossed that all that works out. Just welcome back, everyone. I know I have at least one kid that's excited to go back, so. Yeah. Thanks for all you guys do.
Yeah. Mike, Stephen, Noel, Robin, Seth, JD, Laura, Aaron, Dana, Sally, Jeanette, I'm excited for all of you that are sitting here. I feel very confident about the leadership we have in this district. We don't always say that, but I'm very comfortable going into the school year with the leadership we have, and I think we're in a great opportunity for our students have that and for the new staff. And so just like to thank you all. Glad you're here. Most of you have been here for a while, but I'm glad for the new face too. And I'm just very thankful for each of you that you're here and committed to the district. Very confident.
Ditto on what everybody said. No, I do appreciate it. I know the board and the rest of the staff appreciate you stepping up and helping out when we have a shortfall, so thank you for that. We talked about leadership, James. I'd like to thank you too. I think you did a good job leading our board, so keeping us on track. I appreciate that. I'm not kissing up right now. Darren, I'm excited for you this year. I know it's a new world for you, but I'm sure you'll be good. So thank you. And Bill, thank you.
I would echo everything. I think I was still in school, which has been a long time ago when Jane first started, and she was actually a custodian too. So she's done a lot of different jobs in our district and done them really well, and loved kids and yelled at kids and taking care of kids just like she was their parent. So she's one that will be sad that she's gone. I would just kind of play off of what James said, that I think we have an exceptional leadership team in this district, so exceptional that I'm going to be stepping away from the board after 8 years. I feel pretty confident where you guys are at, and I'm gonna spend the time chasing my high schoolers. So this is an exciting year. Karen and I have seniors. Scary. So does JD. And so I'm looking forward to a year spent chasing my kids around and excited for everything to come.
Thank you, Casey. Okay, now on to less fun stuff. Maybe here. We do have an executive session scheduled for those reasons listed.
So, Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, I move that we go into executive session for the purpose of discussing fact and conclusions of law and decisions, and to consider the expulsion and suspension of an unnamed student.
Second. Moved and seconded to go into executive session to discuss fact and conclusions of law and a decision, and to consider the expulsion or suspension of an unnamed student. All in favor of going into that executive session, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, need a motion to come out of executive session, I think, and
Support of the minutes as
So moved.
second.
moved and seconded to come out of executive session and approve the minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, item 15A, related to the facts and conclusions of law and decision for expulsion of an unnamed student.
Do we go in without naming the student, obviously?
Yeah, we just adopt the findings of fact.
Well, we don't even say what the facts are.
No.
Okay, well, I recommend that we adopt the findings of fact and conclusion of law and the decision for the expulsion of an unnamed student.
Moved and seconded, adopt the finding of fact and conclusion of law, decision for expulsion of an unnamed student. I will note that the
For a period of 1 year,
for a period of 1 year, the student and mother were invited to come and did not show up. So, Georgia, yes or no?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Cassie?
Yes.
I vote yes. Charlie?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Student is expelled for a period of 1 year. And just as a note, that is from all Wyoming high schools. It is not just Coward County School District 2 or Canton or Central. Okay, the next meeting date was set is Monday, September 19th. Notice the school year time of 4 p.m. This is at Saratoga Elementary School. At 4, we will have a board work session at 2 p.m. One of the topics will be just the BOCES and how that relates and what the goals of the BOCES are and how it relates to CCSD in general. Obviously, we'll be looking for a new director there, and we may have other topics. So this meeting is adjourned.